Hi, everybody. It's Linda, and we haven't seen Sean in a while.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
He was our pollster back in the day. And I remember thinking you must be wrong because you always said it's close, it's close. And I thought, nah, he's not. He doesn't. Yeah, you were right.
Yeah, it's close. But yeah, no, I'm currently in Green Bay, Wisconsin, in the middle of the Supreme Court. Oh, crazy. So
Yeah. So and he works with a group of people and they all gather together and
yeah, well,
it's
it's in
at
my team, but
Airbnb.
we all work with Power to the Polls, which is an organization that came out of Milwaukee. It used to be Pews to the Polls, and it's been around. That group's been around for about 15 years, and this one grew from it. And it was there's a lot of 501(c)(3) to the money comes from different places. Conversation that I don't even know. You almost need a PhD to be able to manage all the different nonprofit and PAC organizations that these guys have to navigate. But it became more complicated when they had a religious institution attached to it. So they branched out and allowed them to also take on like other bigger projects and stuff that weren't just Milwaukee, but Wisconsin size
You like the
program.
people there, though, right?
The people in Wisconsin are really, really friendly people.
So
Even like the hardcore Republicans are just the nice. I'm from Texas. We have different Republicans there. So the people here are like just delightful.
yeah. Well, they don't like to see anybody hurt. They're probably what you call
No.
true Christians.
Oh, no, they're lovely people, and they everyone's been really nice. We've had a couple of crazies, but you always have crazies, you know.
Always.
You can't. That has nothing to do with Wisconsin. Just that was all statistics. We were eventually going to run into a few of them. We're knocking on like 20,000 doors up here in Green Bay, and we will wrap up tomorrow. But yeah.
Is
So
the
that was our
voting tonight?
huh?
Are they voting tonight or
They're
tomorrow?
voting tomorrow. Tomorrow's election, but there's been early voting. We have 500,000 people have already voted in this election. Yeah. When my people are out canvassing, they're constantly, they'll know who's voted, because they'll be like, oh, this person's already voted, and they'll go to the next
Uh,
door. But they're like telling me that in certain neighborhoods, it's like everybody's already voted.
wow.
They're going to have record turnout for a spring election. They already have record turnout for a
And
spring
what's the
election.
motivation for the record turnout?
So the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court here, is currently four, I would say, central left, and then three conservative uh, judges are that's what the breakdown is. So it's 4-3. And one of the judge, and they have 10-year terms. I have a whole video on my channel. If you want to learn all about the Wisconsin
What's the name
Supreme
of your
Court.
channel
Oh,
again?
it's CLSB Politics. And C as in cat, L, S, B as in Brisco, uh, politics, and you can find me on YouTube. I have over 130 episodes now, but there's a whole one just on Wisconsin, a whole playlist just
Oh yeah, we'll
Wisconsin.
have to watch that.
And I was, of course, in Wisconsin last cycle, so you can see a lot of that there too. You can see how I get older and more tired looking the closer it gets to election day. It's really sad. That's one thing I've noticed about my videos. I'm like, oh, look at him. He looks so tired. And I'm all like, okay. So the way the polling's looking,
Did
it's
you
not
see
good.
that, after Trump allegedly won? I thought I'll probably just come off YouTube. Everybody was angry. I dropped about 1,000 subscribers. I thought,
Oh no, I lost a fair chunk
yeah.
of
And
my
I thought,
subscribers. I
well,
don't blame them.
and I don't blame them. I don't
No.
blame them.
Hey,
And what's
unplugging's okay.
interesting, I don't know if you believe in this stuff, but your mom and I roll with this. My guys, I said, why? Why would you tell me this and this happened? What is the purpose? And they said, Linda, man has free will. And also, they wanted to say that his people need to see who he really is. That's exactly what they said to me. And by gosh, she's kind of showing them because a lot of people are going, wait a second, I didn't mean my farm. I didn't mean my family. And he does
Right.
not care.
No, there's a lot of interconnected parts of the government that he's dismantling that specifically target, like, it's not just the programs that operate the food banks, it's the programs that grow the food for the food banks. are also affected. Uh, just the grants being all just canceled.
Just done.
Whereas, and there's some that legally you just can't do that.
Right.
So, they're all in the courts now, and they've blown up the courts, they've blown up the government. And the whole point, I listen to all these experts and it just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, except, yeah, it doesn't make any sense for you to do that because you have a vested interest in the program, the system being a success.
Yes.
They have a vested interest in the programs not being a success.
Right.
They want to have
Dismantle.
problems that they can point to and blame other people for. That's so the way you do that is you create problems, manufacture problems. We've seen this already. We saw this in the first term. They manufacture problems so that they can do these other things on the side, thinking no one's watching. But we've already seen this show. We know what they're going to do.
Been there,
They
done
gave
that,
us
been
their
through that.
manual. That
Yeah.
Project 2025, I did 15 shows on that. Is a whole playlist just Project 2025. And I can't even keep up with the amount of things that I talked about when I did those series of video of shows that are literally almost verbatim happening right now. And there's a reason for that. It has nothing to do with saving money. They're never going to say, they're talking about going after 1.3% of the budget. That's what when they're firing all these people, that's what they're doing. That's the amount of the
To
budget that they're
give
even
their
having an
themselves,
effect on.
to give themselves money.
Yeah, well, no, what it does is um, this is the problem they're creating. They're giving a lot of very, very smart people a lot of time on their hands. They're freeing with the Pale Grant and everything and FAFSA being thrown out the window, which happened over the last, 3 days. Uh, they just given about 4 million students nothing better to do. So
Oh.
I truly do think that's their goal. And then they can go and turn the military on the population because you gave 4 million students nothing else to do. So what do you
Yeah.
think's going to happen? This is an easily predicted model.
Oh,
We've
now
seen
they're
this
talking about
already.
him getting that third term, which will never
Oh,
happen.
it'll never happen. It'll never happen. Oh, so that's what you said about him getting elected. I'm like, yep.
Well, I was very, very pleasantly surprised and shocked that Justice Roberts made a statement. You can't
Oh
just
yeah.
get rid of judicial because you don't agree with their ruling.
Right, right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
And it's because it's literally not only is because Congress is rolling over and abdicating all of their duties and that's set out in the Constitution, abdicating them to the executive branch. There's so you don't have the legislative check that you normally have. The judicial check, which is the other third leg of the of our government, finally, in some form or fashion, after giving this guy carte blanche, free, can get away with anything he wants because he's president and presidents can't do anything illegal. What a bunch of nonsense. It's right up there with corporations being people. Come on now.
yeah, exactly.
That's not a
So,
thing.
so tell us more about Wisconsin in this contest.
Okay, so the Supreme Court, so uh we've got Crawford who's the so this is a nonpartisan race, okay? And so this is basically it's held without a partisan primary.
Okay.
So they've already gone through kind of the pre-election part where the top two, So now we're at the two people on there and they're spending $100 million on this election, which is insane. Like the previous record was from 22 and that was like 23 million. I may be getting that wrong, but it wasn't 100.
Yeah, but is Elon Musk, who's he picking?
Oh, he's picking uh the guy who's he's the Republican that's running in the election, and I want to get his name right. Candidates for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Yeah, there you are. And so basically what Schimmel's the Republican, but there's not really a Republican, but he's the white dude who wants to control women's bodies. Yeah, so Brad Schimmel wants to control women's bodies, definitely doesn't want unions to be able to organize. So workers, he definitely wants to screw over workers. This guy is basically uh, uh, what I call the mini Reagans, those little bitty Reagans
Okay.
uh, that float around in the Republican political party. But he's to the right of Reagan on most of the social issues because even Reagan was like, you know. Um, but uh, but yeah, so my thinking is that we've got a great candidate in Susan Crawford. She's really got a lot of momentum and walked in with a lot of momentum, and he's caught up. And as it normally does, as the campaign comes to a close, it does tighten. But most of the public polling that I'm seeing is 50 her, 50% her, 46 him, and then there's this 4% of undecided, not sure. We're seeing some of that on the ground as well. I can speak to that. Anecdotally, I think we're seeing that. Um, and then there's a lot of internal polling and stuff I'm not privy, I don't it's not
Yeah.
I'm not privy to talk about. But but like I said, it's I think she's got a great chance.
Oh,
And if
good.
the people get out and vote and they're paying attention, uh then I think that then because I mean I really do think the voters in Wisconsin are very pragmatic because
Yes.
they're farmers and they've got a plan and they've got weather to deal with. It's already unstable enough. Everything else that they do really is the way these people are. They're real. Um, they love cheese and they do love beer and they do love their sausage. But I will tell you, they're very pragmatic. They're very everyone works.
Yeah.
There's factories. Like it's funny. It's like it's been a minute since I've heard anyone say, "Oh, I'm just gonna go." As one of our canvassers that I work with was I was like, "What are you gonna do after the canvass?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go work at the factory." I'm like, "Okay," because it's 1953 and that's the thing.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, no,
But
but
is any
that's
of the things that Trump has done caused their factories to close?
no, it's all going to ripple through. It's just they're right at the beginning. Definitely, you can imagine that Wisconsin's quite the trading partner with Canada. Um, so you can imagine what that's going to do to the agriculture department. There's talking again about the you know the food and drug and the Department of Agriculture. There's a lot of grants and stuff that go into uh, agriculture that's specifically for fresh vegetables for food pantries and stuff. And there's farmers in Wisconsin. I saw a story like just the other day that their program is grant funded from the federal government, and all those grants have been cut. So they're like, so they're farmers, they're going to sell their stuff, but they're like, what about the food pantries? So come Thanksgiving, when all the food pantries, there's just no food. That's when we're going to start seeing. We're going to, what you got to start thinking about is what kind of environment are these Republicans going to be running in come November when, people are trying to put Thanksgiving together and they can't.
Yeah.
What's and the vegetables and everything, the prices all went up because you deported 500,000 agriculture workers out of Florida and Texas because you're an idiot and don't know how the economy actually works. And like you're going to be running as a candidate in that environment. So that's why I always tell candidates when we're working towards like 2026, think about where the environment's probably going to look like.
Yeah.
And having already seen the Trump show once, I think we can all extrapolate that
Well, and
this,
also these people are afraid to go to their own uh constituents and have a town hall.
oh, the Democrats are getting, I mean, it's not as bad, of course, but it's still pretty bad for Democrats out there too, because they've either like what Schumer did, voting for the budget
Oh,
and
did you
everything,
see Nancy
extension to
Pelosi
September.
try? Nancy Pelosi tried to do an event this weekend with her
Yeah. Oh, no,
constituents
no, no, no,
in San
no.
Francisco. They booed her off the stage,
Right. No, yeah. No, I believe it.
but they
No,
accept
there's a,
AOC and Bernie, no
yeah.
problem,
Well, those guys get
because
cheers.
they tell the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, we talk about, what the Republican Party's done. Well, the Republican Party is actually a lot younger as far as leadership goes than the Democratic Party. Yeah, you got Mitch McConnell and he's a billion. He's also stepping down.
Yeah.
Um, so, you've got, let me step down. So you've got younger people in those positions now that you didn't, but just if you look at the average age, I mean, yes, both parties are old, way older than the population that actually, votes for them. Anyway, they're much older than the average population, but uh uh, you've got during 2010, the Republicans got rid of a lot of their older uh, candidates during the Tea Party revolution. Well, the Democrats have never actually had that.
Okay.
We've had normal attrition, uh, and sometimes, like especially during the Trump administration, it was just so terrible being in DC, and it's about to be like that again. That a lot of people just left.
Yeah.
They retired. They just didn't want to deal with it because it was not what they signed up for, and certainly wasn't what it was 30 years ago when they got in office. So there's been that kind of natural attrition. But I mean, we've had 80-year-olds in major leadership positions for decades.
Like
And
grassland.
the average age of Texas is like 34, 35.
Wow.
I mean,
And you know what got me is McConnell? His ratings were so low,
oh no,
and he still
yeah,
won.
no. This is what's weird. It's like everyone's congressman sucks but mine. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
right.
So yeah, if you look at Congress as a whole, yeah, have like dismal like 12% approval rating. But if you ask people about their congressman, boom.
They like him.
Oh yeah,
So let me
100%.
ask
It's
you
not my
something.
congressman's problem.
Right, right.
It's Congress's problem. Yeah.
So Elon Musk was there yesterday.
Oh yeah, there were a
What's this?
thousand protesters at
How
that
many?
event. 1,000 protesters. Green Bay is 105,000 people. There were 1,000 people at that protest yesterday.
And then how
I
many
knew quite
went
a
to
few
the
of them.
event?
Huh?
How many went to the event?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I just know how many protesters there. You can see which side of the equation I was mostly had been getting.
Well, the other thing is, I'm sure there's a lot of people who could care less whether what he was there for. They just wanted the money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
And as
no.
it is, he gave the $1 million to a campaign runner.
Right. Yeah, guy that's in the Republican Party. So, yeah, that sounded like a backdoor donation to the Republican Party. Whatever, doesn't matter.
But
So,
was there chatter? Did you hear like, oh, it was great or eh?
no, everyone that went to the protests had a great time. They loved it.
Okay,
There was a few interactions. There was some name calling. People shouldn't be calling people's moms things. If yeah, just
I know.
my personal opinion.
Me
Leave the
too.
moms out of it. But apparently there was some mom stuff, and that was not cool. But other than that, everyone was pretty well behaved, as
The
from what
other
I
thing
understand.
I don't like is people destroying those cars, Elon's car.
Yeah, the Tesla, that stuff is pretty terrible.
Because
Not to
my
mention
son
it's
wanted a
dangerous.
Tesla back in the day, but he went for a Toyota hybrid
Right.
because mom could only afford
Well,
that.
catching those cars on fire is really dangerous because those lithium batteries are no joke.
And
I
they
mean,
are one of the highest cars for accidents and deaths, more so than the Ford Pinto.
well, there you go. I don't have a Tesla, so.
But again, but they said they're going to put them at federal crimes and all this stuff, you know.
Well, I mean, it is vandalism and it is destruction
Yeah,
of property. I don't know if it would reach the level of
of terrorists.
terrorism, domestic terrorism, which is what they're trying to push. That seems a little bit overblown.
Yeah, I don't
But
know if the
most of the
Supreme
stuff
Court
that comes out of the White House is completely overblown.
overblown.
Um,
Like just
and
today, he said, I've got one of the best ratings of any Republican. It's like, who talks to you? Because that's when it,
that's
not what
just
they're,
people blowing you up, dude. You're
yeah,
not actually any of that. Nothing that comes out of his mouth is true at
no, I
all.
know.
And
Oh, like Elon yesterday, we found 82 million dead people collecting Social Security. Show
no, you didn't.
us,
No,
prove
you
it.
didn't. They didn't. No, they didn't. If they did, believe me, you'd see it.
And there'd be all kinds of people going to jail
Oh yeah.
for
Oh yeah.
fraud. Nobody's been
Huge.
arrested.
Yeah. Nobody. They're full of it.
Is there any other chatter out there you'd like for us to know?
So, they're everyone's feeling pretty positive. there was a movement, and there might still be, but it won't involve the organization I'm working with or the organizations we're partnering with. But there is a group that's going to meet at the central counting office to stand vigil. I think we're having a watch party and in Green Bay and with the at the it'll be a bunch of different organizations, including the Democratic Party of Green Bay. And so we're gonna go there and which is really because Green Bay, everything's like 4 minutes from everywhere. Green Bay's it's a cutest, littlest town with a giant, awesome football stadium. It is
Wow.
really, really cool. And I love this little town and but everything's 4 minutes. So if
Yeah.
there's a thing, if they need us to show up and be witness or what, I think we're just going to mostly hang out until we see the results, and that'll be the election. I mean, that's usually how they work, and I've been doing this for 28 years, so
Yeah.
feeling pretty confident that's what's going to end up happening, which is great. We don't want any drama. We don't. Nobody wants any trouble,
No.
and no
I
one's
just,
angling for it
honest to
either.
gosh, I honest to God hope she wins because I really need Elon Musk to be shown. Take your money and head out the door.
Right, right. And he's got SpaceX to worry about, and he just sold it X to himself for
For
38
Twitter,
billion. He,
for
he
yeah.
he bought it for 62. I don't know what's going on there. But you know, he's the kind of guy that can lose 25 billion on a deal and be
Yeah,
meh.
but he's still losing. He dropped some more
Eh,
ducats
it's not even real money. For
with his
the once you get to
Tesla.
that level, it's not even real money. It's just
Yeah, that's
not.
true.
It's
But they're
just
gonna
it's
call notes in on him.
oh, they can. That's
Yeah,
fine. 98% of everything that went into orbit last year went up through SpaceX
yeah.
globally. So,
Yeah, but now that we've gotten the time of day on him, things are changing, including China.
nah, not not feeling it. They're still he'll
They're
still be
gonna
what
still use them?
97% of everything will go up this year. I'm
Yeah,
just
but
saying there's certain things that he's not gonna
yeah, but he lied to Canada that he sold a bunch of cars that he didn't, and he's trying to get money for it. So they're
eh,
gonna get him up on charges.
and I'm sure they'll find something.
Yeah.
But you know, anyway, my thing is like, why don't we just vote these idiots out of office and we have to deal with these morons?
There you go.
That's
That's
kind
what's
of where
gonna
I'm at. I
happen.
mean, personally, once they've got that kind of money,
Now,
they're
let
not.
me give you a dream state. What happens in November of next year and it's all blue?
Well, I
What's the
think,
extent? I know he can veto everything, right?
well, I mean, yeah, yeah, he can veto it. Well, that's
But they
fine.
can override him with enough
Yeah,
votes.
yeah, yeah, and they'll be forced to. Plus, people in his own party will be running for his seat, so they can't afford to be a part of his whiny battle on the way out. So my feeling is that a lot of those swing districts and 26 is going to be insane. It'll be the most money ever spent in any midterm election in the history of our country. I'll guarantee it. Um, that's an easiest prediction I've got.
Yeah.
Uh, the I think that November is going to be very interesting. I think a lot of those Republicans in New York are in for a reality check. I think a lot of the Republicans in the Midwest are in for a reality check.
What
Um,
about Florida?
I think, you know, I got friends currently working in Florida right now,
And
and they're having a good time.
okay,
So we'll
we
see
could
that
wish then. We could
that's
wish.
Pennsylvania State Senate seat. That was an R plus 15, I think. And the one down in Florida, I think I looked it up. I think it was an R plus 14. It's technically better than the one in Pennsylvania. So that might be really interesting. I don't know. Their elections, their special elections. Special is an oh my God.
I
Like
know.
special,
Of all the elections, we've only lost one.
like real special. Like at every level is it special. So you never know what's going to happen. I've worked my fair share of special elections. This one I'm working in is not. This is an April election. This is a normal. In fact, the one I'm working right now, they're gonna because of the way the scheduling of the Supreme Court, state Supreme Court justices are, because they have a 10-year term. They actually have one of these every April for the next 6 years.
Wow. So we could fill it up.
Oh, this could happen again.
We
Yeah.
can fill her up.
Next April, boom, back here again. Yep.
Wow.
It's crazy. So yeah, for the next 6 years, they're lined up. So I could be back here again doing the same thing, talking to you the same time, you
I
know.
know. I
It's
know. And then
possible.
are you going to be in the midst of this election in November of 26?
I don't know if I'm going to be here. Well, first thing, I'd love to go to Virginia. That would be great. So that would be fun. Because they're the next thing that's happening. Um, so because between now and November of this year, Virginia is really what's happening. There's some municipals and special election, and there's some other stuff floating around, but there's plenty, all the state house seats, all the state senate seats, the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and one other statewide seat, I think, are all up for grabs in Virginia.
Wow.
So they do all that stuff on the odd year, and then they have the regular cray cray on the even year. So, like in Virginia, if you look it up, my God, they have the most elections of any state in the country. I looked this up last time I did it back in 20 and 23. Um, uh, but it was like in like the last decade, it was like 900 or something. It was crazy. Like the next state wasn't even like 35. I mean,
Right. Right.
Virginia, they vote a lot and they have elections all the time in Virginia. And in the odd years, since they don't do the November even years with their state stuff like a lot of other states do, they spread it out into both years. They end up having twice the number of elections. And in
Right.
odd year elections, when most states don't do much, they do their entire state election. So Virginia is where a lot of work goes, and that's probably where I'll be. That, and then of course 26 is nuts. Who knows?
Who
I
knows?
honestly have no idea where I'm going to be in 26. They want us to come back here. I'd love to come back here. It'd be a
Yeah.
blast.
Because you
Uh,
really like the people. Now you got me in
and
the mood to go visit
well,
them.
I'm going to tell you straight out, the cheese here is incredible, and the beer here is awesome.
I don't
So,
drink beer, but I love cheese. Cheese
oh,
was
if you
good in
love cheese,
Scotland.
listen, they also they have sausages like crazy. They've got uh they've got some solid barbecue. I've had barbecue up here, solid.
Well,
Um,
I know they're very good people there.
oh, they're great, yeah. Oh, but they do breakfast food like nobody I've ever seen in my life. They have
Really?
pancakes that are the size like this. I'm not
Holy
kidding.
cow.
For real. It's crazy. Anyway, but that's yeah, it's Green Bay.
That's
So
the
that's where I feel.
411.
But
And I
yeah, I feel
wanted to
like yeah, the
mention to you
26 can
that,
be crazy. 26 will be crazy. You were
oh,
asking
I
about
know,
that.
but we'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention to you also that the recent polls showing that Republicans have dropped 15% approval rating towards Trump.
Well, they're very bad at governance, but they're very good at complaining about governance. But when it comes to actually governing, they are so bad. I
I know,
mean, they're
you
just
wonder why
terrible
they
at it.
keep voting for these people who are working against them.
It's to give the Democrats something to fix.
Yeah, hopefully it'll get fixed. But you're
Mhm.
okay in Texas right now.
Well, I'm kind of floating around right now. I don't know when the next time I'll actually be in Texas, to be honest.
Really?
It'll be this summer, but I am busy moving and moving.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sean, for
No problem.
giving us the 411, and I'll find your site on YouTube
Yeah,
and
it's CLSB
post it.
Politics. And yeah, I have all my shows on that channel.
Okay. I don't know why I wasn't informed that you were on there. I thought but it's been a long
I've
time.
been
You know,
on, yeah,
remember I told you I lost 1,000?
right,
I
right.
was
Oh
like
no, I
80.
lost okay, after the election I lost so about 300, but I've gotten about 100 back.
Guess how many I got back? I'm over 130,000 now.
Oh wow.
You see
That's
my award from YouTube
oh
when I
oh
hit
that's
100?
nice. That's great.
Who
Well,
knows?
come
You know,
over to
it's
my channel. I talk about for 5 minutes, I talk about rando political and campaign
well,
stuff.
you can invite me over and I'll come on.
That'd be fun. I've
Yeah,
never
it doesn't
actually done
always
that
have
on
to
my
be
channel
me
ever.
having you. You tell me, Linda, I want you to come on my show. I'll be there.
That's awesome. No, we should I've
Okay.
never done that before. That'll be interesting.
Oh, yes, it's very easy, especially on Zoom.
Yeah. All right,
All right,
cool.
my friend. Wonderful talking to you. Tell your mom I said hi.
Will do.
Okay. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.